You ready? We're like 1 minute late. Shoddy behaviour. Good afternoon. Welcome to Greater Westminster Friday. No, that's got water in it. Off to a great start. Don't push things around on my desk because I have equipment on my desk. The kitchen roll's here. I'm not helping you. Right. You're going to do it all yourself. Disconnect. Con's already spilling things, so we know it's going to be a good one. Fine. It's just amazing today. Thank you to everyone who has joined us already. If you've missed that, yes, there has been a spillage already, and we're only 30 seconds into the stream. So today we're going to do an Ask Us Anything. If we look a little different, if we look better, let me know, because we have new studio lights. They're quite bright, but they are fancy Godox lights. And we're going to see if this makes a difference to the overall look. We actually haven't tested our audio either, so it's going so well. That's a good idea, actually. Let me put the headphones?
Hi, everyone.
Con's here too.
In my spare time, when I don't flood things,
yes,
I set up the sound.
Yes, except we're too busy faffing about with the lights.
All right, hello and welcome to Nick and Report, your weekly roundup of all the latest Nick and news.
It's not the weekly report.
It's a wrong day, isn't it?
It is. Okay, so hoping that we sound fine. Please let us know. We are going to start tackling the questions. As Ad said, there's lots of contrast. Seth said, can only go uphill from here. So yes, if we've already spilled the bottle of water at the beginning, can only get better.
Challenge accepted.
Oh,
the bar can be lowered even more.
It can, but let's not go there. Right, so we are going to be answering some of your questions, both photography related and for whatever you want to ask us, we don't mind. We're not really fussed. We may not answer all questions, particularly if they're inappropriate. We've had some fun interactions the last week on our comments. So yes, first of all, I have to say a humongous thank you to Randall for sending us these. They didn't take 30 days to arrive. This is the L-shaped grip for the ZFC. Don't know if you can see that. And he actually sent us 2 of them, which was very nice. So I've put one. That's yours.
Thank you, Randall. Oh, that's for me. Okay, I just need to buy a ZFC now.
Yeah, so I've put that on our ZFC, and that's what it looks like. Now, I've spent the last couple of days editing a jaunt that we did with the ZFC, and that video will come out around Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And the grip I've found is really useful. So I would say that's kind of a must. And the small rig one is also nice because it's chrome, whereas the Nikon one is black.
Yeah, it's actually a quite nice matching grip. So if you look at the base of the camera and the grip itself, it's a perfect match almost.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I have to say hi to Andy for joining us live for the first time. Hello, Andy. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
And there are a couple of questions about the Z9. We'll try and tackle those if we can answer them. But before we do,
yes,
I want to talk about Joe Mcnally. A lot of you have commented on the wonderful interview that we did with him last week. It was an absolute delight to have him in the shop with us.
Yeah, I think Barack Obama is next.
Yes, because that's the way we go.
Yeah, we are the new collective opera of Nick and Internet.
That's right. And Joe actually has a great book out. It's called The Real Deal, Field Notes from... Oh, I'll move it over here. Field Notes from the Life of a Working Photographer. And it's kind of, I would say, part technical field notes, but also part autobiography. It's very, very interesting. Unfortunately, the physical copies won't be out until next year because they're slowly making their way across the ocean.
Semiconductor shortage.
Yeah. But the online e-reader Kindle version is available now. And I mean, we are just immensely grateful to Joe for coming to us anyway, but also this book is a real treat. I've read the first few chapters already. He actually gives a really nice nod to Grace. In it. A really lovely, heartfelt... Can I read it?
That's really nice. Ooh, and it's a signed version.
This is great. This is not a giveaway. This is Gray and Jill's copy, which I'm not permitted to give away. But when they're a bit more readily available, I will.
We can sign them ourselves?
Yes. He says... this photo business is basically a small town filled with supportive, passionate people and companies, without which the photographer would be lost. I'm fortunate to have many friends at Nikon UK, Lastolite, Manfrotto, Gitzo, Profoto, Capture One, Maha, Tethered Tools, Adorama, Greys of Westminster, and Printique to put names to this wonderful support system. Without their advice, counsel, and products, it would be infinitely harder to make pictures and forge ahead. These photo enterprises also do an excellent talent. So anyway, I thought it was rather lovely.
Young talent.
I think we're a bit too old to be young talent now.
Forever young, Becky.
Yes.
Forever young.
Young art. So thank you to Joe for that acknowledgement as well. That was absolutely amazing. But if you would like to purchase a copy, you can do so off all the places you get your ebooks, or you can pre-order the hardback, which is a Meteor book, which will be out at some point next year.
Yeah, you know, I found myself constantly smile throughout the whole interview.
It was like so difficult not to smile, wasn't it?
Exactly.
We went out of transmission briefly.
And we're back.
I know. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, maybe there's a gremlin in the system today. Maybe it's the water you spilled on my computer.
People are DDoSing us. We are so popular.
Something like that. I have to say a huge thank you to Jean St. Louis. Good morning.
Good morning.
Fred,
thank you.
who's in Naples in Florida.
Thank you.
David May and Joe Galka. Thank you so much for your contributions to the Coffee Fund. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. The Coffee Fund is open, so feel free to contribute. I've got my tea here right now. I'm taking it easy. Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking maybe we should keep it away from.
I'm not allowed to touch anything today.
No, you just stay in your corner.
One spill a day?
No, one spill a day does not make Becky happy. So first question is from Richard today. He said, on the Z9, we all know how amazing the FPS rates are, but is it possible to select any slower FPS rate so you don't end up with 100 shots of a flower or something?
Oh, me.
Yeah, go on then.
Yes, you can. As with all cameras, you've got continuous high, which normally goes on the highest frame rate possible, and you also have continuous low mode, which allows you to select exact amount of shots per second, whichever you want, really. So it's on all Nikon cameras. All you have to do is just select CL and then choose the frame rate.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, it's got its own dedicated little switch on the top dial on the Z9, which is kind of cool, so you can control it very quickly. I had that exact scenario, Richard, when we were shooting with the Z9 for that little brief excursion. I was going, why? I don't want 20 shots of you and Sam playing ping pong. I want like 5.
We shot about 10 different scenes and we ended up with about 45 gig of photographs.
I didn't know it was that much of that. Oh, no. Anyway, so yes, hopefully that answers your question. David asks a good question. How many used items does GOW have in stock? How much do we have in our second hand?
A lot.
A lot. I mean, it depends on whether you're counting just lenses and bodies, or if you're also counting hoods and accessories.
That's like, it's something like times 5.
Yeah, we have a lot. Well over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
Speaking of which, of Z9, we have a video almost ready. So it's in pre-production stages, but hopefully will be out very soon, where we show you different focusing modes and just the tracking system of the camera.
Yeah, it's very true. What's the rarest item you've sold, Con?
Rarest item?
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I sold a 15mm 3.5.
15, that's good. I sold a bunch of rangefinder stuff, which is always rare. So
yeah, it's true. S3 limited. It's quite a rare one. I mean, I would say that in terms of normal sort of Nikon stock to rarities, 1 in 20 sales is something that's a little bit unusual, but that tends to kind of be our specialty. So I think people come to us for that. Ian, hello, Ian.
Hello.
Says, any sign of a Z9 book yet? They usually take a few months to arrive after the cameras come out.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess, always look out for electronic versions. Tom Hogan has them out pretty quickly.
Yes.
But you got David Bush. Who else is there? Tom Spark? Is it Tom Spark?
John Sparks. I don't think John has done one for a little while though. I think actually I'm not sure, but John Sparks was doing the sort of smaller guys. Tom Hogan does these really hefty guys that you have to really get on e-reader. I mean, you can't like carry, it's like like that. Like what's that? It's like an old school
you print them
Bible.
out and you pay someone to bound them.
Yeah, exactly. So probably a few months after the camera is out there in the world. And Roy, similarly with the PDF manual, Roy was asking when the PDF manual will appear, probably on the Nikon website once the cameras have shipped. That's
a couple of days before generally they do that. I was actually searching now. There's nothing out yet.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of very, very lovely comments about Joe. I hope that he at some point gets a chance to watch this. Joe is actually doing our Christmas event tomorrow. Which
are there still tickets or?
I actually don't know if there's any places left.
Okay, yeah, because we had couple of seats left. Couple of places left a couple of days ago, so I'm not sure they're gone now.
So we're going to be there. If you're coming, then we'll see you in the virtual tomorrow night, which will be great. Obviously, we won't be talking. We'll just be watching. But it's going to be great. Wow. Your computer's got a mind of its own.
Yeah.
It's all that water that you spilt on my computer. Sam, I understand what Whamageddon is. I don't know if anyone else does. Have you ever participated in Whamageddon?
Well, it was a movie back in the day, isn't it? With Aerosmith's song, no?
No. Whamageddon is where you try not to hear the Last Christmas famous song by
been
Wham.
whammed.
Yes.
Yes, I do it to Becky all the time.
The whole month of December.
Every year, it's my mission to make sure that she hears as many Wham songs as possible.
You actually can't intentionally wham someone and get them out, just so you know. But anyway, if you're participating in Whamageddon, may the force be with you. Oh dear. And let's just see. Oh, Paul was saying, are we going to open up a rural shop? Well, it's not impossible to get to Grays because I get to Grays every day from a rural spot, and
me too.
I manage it. Okay, you're not quite as rural as me, but anyway. No. I don't think we will open up a rural shop. If anything, we should open one up in like New York or Paris.
Oh yes.
Milan.
Well, you're going to be in Paris. I'm going to be in New York.
I'd be in Rome.
Yes.
If it was up to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. No, I used to live in Battersea, just next to Battersea Park. So,
right.
So where I live now, it feels rural.
It does.
You know?
It's true. You feel like you're in the countryside.
Used to just cycle. It's 9 minutes to Great Westminster.
And now it's...
Was still late, but 9 minutes anyway.
Yeah, you were late every day, but you're only 9 minutes away.
But the moment I moved out of town,
yeah,
I'm actually early.
Yes, let's.
Because if you miss the train, you miss it for an hour.
That's right. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. There's 100-mile-per-hour winds up in Berwick upon Tweed. Wow. Ray, I really feel for you. I'm trying to read every single comment here, which is probably a bit annoying, but it's mainly so that I can see if there's any questions. Ooh, David's asked a great question.
Yes.
Okay, David's question is, first of all, good morning from drought-stricken California.
Good morning.
Good morning. I wish we could send you some of our rain, David. We've got lots of it. He says, my question to you two is what got you started in photography and what was the most interesting place or subject you've ever photographed?
They went with serious question where we need to think about it, isn't it? So I started with photography when I was about 14. Mm-hmm. I was just reading a lot about photography. It's just sometimes you find something interesting and you just read so much about it. And then I had my father's Zenith SLR. So that's what I had till I was about, 19? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was very interesting. I actually found a raw film the other day with my first studio shoot. It was in my town in rural Russia.
Yeah.
And actually, I found this photographer. He was a news reporter for a local newspaper. And his daughter, we were in the same class when we were kids. So I met him in one gallery, and I came to him and said, oh, I'm so-and-so. Could you teach me? And he said, yeah, sure, pop into my studio.
Wow.
So, and he had FM2.
Yeah.
So I had my first studio shoot on FM2. Pictures look like crap, to be honest. But, but it was interesting to see that actually my first Nikon I've tried was FM2, and then F100 came later.
Interesting. I think it really goes to show that what you kind of start with, you stick with.
Exactly.
I started with a little Kodak point and shoot. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I was taking pictures when I was about 9 or 10, and I think it came from my grandparents. All of my grandparents took photos, and that kind of love of photography. I would sneak cameras into school. Wasn't allowed to do that. Definitely can't do that now, except everyone has a smartphone. But I used to I'd take a camera with me when we were doing, like charity days, or we used to call them crazy dressing up days and stuff. I've got hilarious bribery material for any of my classmates from the years going back. And in terms of, the most interesting place or subject I've ever photographed, that's a tough one. That's a very, very tough one, because some of the stuff that's the most memorable is probably not that interesting to other people. Like the other day when we did that shoot at Kew Gardens, actually it was a few months ago now, but it feels like it was the other day. That was fascinating to photograph, because we did it very differently to how we how we would have shot anything else. We shot entirely on manual focus glass. It was really interesting. I don't know what's going on with your trackpad there.
I have no idea.
So not an easy question to answer, but some of my favorites I've put up on my website. I need to do a little bit more of that, which I will do when I'm away in January. Okay, Steve asks, what one item did you ask for in your letter to Santa?
Never written one. Okay. In Soviet Russia.
Okay, so what's on your Christmas list?
For this year, I think it was all Black Friday, actually. So,
you just bought yourself a present?
I literally bought everything for myself. So actually, we talked about what I bought, but I also bought SSD upgrade. I got 18 terabyte hard drive.
Yes.
So, I bought the noise cancellation software. So
yes.
I'm pretty much set. So the only things on my waiting list is actually for my wife. So whatever she wishes. So,
okay. Oh, that's nice. But Gabby's got an easy go of it then if you've bought all your presents for yourself already.
Well, she can, we have those relations where you say, just transfer me this amount of money and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I asked Santa, aka my husband, for a Kindle Paperwhite. So, and then I sent him the link to it on Black Friday.
Yeah, so no more 1,000 pages books on the train?
I will still carry my 1,000-page books. You should see the one I've got in my bag today. But the Kindle Paperwhite will help because when I'm going to visit my parents in the new year, I was like, I'm going to have a suitcase full of books. So no, Kindle Paperwhite. None of those things are photography related. But anyway, now... Did I miss someone's question? No. Oh, gosh. Acronym photography asked a tough one. Tough one.
Not again.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Not a very quick question.
Okay.
Do you think the Z9 will be able to run CF Express in slot 1, XQD in slot 2? Okay. In slot 1, saving RAW, star, and in slot 2, saving backup JPEGs.
Yes.
See what I mean?
Yes, it's a common thing on all cameras. So let's say if you look at Z7 Mark II, which takes XQD and SD cards, you can do those.
Yes.
So I don't see why not. Obviously, if second card is a backup of the first one and issued at 20 frames per second, it may take some time for the second card to catch up because XQD cards, let's say, will be much slower than CF Express cards.
Yeah, so that was the other half of the question was, will the speed be reduced to that of the XQD card?
Yes, but XQD card is not going to be fast to start with.
No.
That's the thing. In my opinion, obviously, if they have two CF Express cards, that means they have enough pipeline to write on both cards at the same speed. At the same time, if you end up with two amounts of data, because effectively, if you shoot on the first card and the second card has been backed up, I don't think it records two cards simultaneously. It will still clone the first card effectively. So, but yeah, if you're shooting RAW and let's say second RAW is a backup, basically second card is a backup on RAW, it's probably just going to take a little bit longer to back up that data to the second card. But with JPEGs, I probably, I don't think there will be any delay because JPEG files are going to be a lot smaller.
Yes. So
in theory,
the rule of thumb is that your camera is only as fast as your slowest card, but because you're shooting JPEGs on the slower card, you may not slow it down that much. 20 frames per second will still absolutely apply. It's just it's going to kind of slow down or stop, or I would say slow down at the point that your XQD card slows down. So hopefully that makes sense and kind of answers your question. We can obviously do more tests when we've got a Z9 in our hands.
So in theory at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Steve says, when do you think we may see a Z7 Mark III or a Z8, which will filter down the advances from the Z9? This is a good question.
Yeah, you start.
Okay. So based on what we've kind of been hearing, based on what Rishi told us when he was here or didn't tell us, the case may be.
He told us everything.
He essentially said, don't get your hopes up.
We know the 5-year plan of releases right now.
It was very much making me think we won't get something like that for quite some time. I would like to believe we will see something maybe at the latter end of next year or the beginning of 2023. My thought process behind that is that the Z9 really needs its moment in the sun.
Exactly. So we're not going to talk too much about this because we're going to talk about it later on in year in review in our prediction section. So we're not going to spill all the beans. But yeah, I agree with you. 2023. I don't think we'll see anything. I think we'll see Z8 and some DX stuff, but I don't think we'll see Z6 and Z7 Mark IIIs in 2022.
Yeah, exactly. Have to say thank you to Adrian for your contribution to the Coffee Fund. Another one from Jean. No, sorry, I missed Adrian at the beginning. I beg your pardon. I'm looking at really old comments. I didn't thank Adrian. He was the first one in there. Thank you, Adrian. And Jeremy. And since then, Deborah and David and Vince and Randall. Amazing. I'm going to read your questions. I was really trying to answer every single question if I could. So I'm quite far behind us.
That's true.
Moment. Did you spill water on your computer?
No, I did not.
Okay. Because it's being a little bit temperamental right now.
I might have to send it back.
Oh, no. Yes, Baxter pointed out we do have reflection over there. Quite hard to... We need anti-glare picture frames.
The problem is we literally had 5 minutes to set it up, so we didn't really have time to play with the lighting as of yet. We're also very limited on space here, so we can't really move the lights with big soft boxes around. Exactly.
About a meter between us and the camera.
So more to come, more testing to come. We need to set up the white balance. We need to make sure, I think the bottom part is a little bit shadowy. So yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yes, exactly. Work in progress, but thank you. We will work on it further. Peter said, when will the D7 ship?
Never.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen unless some other company makes a product that's called the D7. Maybe
that's what I'm saying. I think it's never. And it's unfortunate, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Richard said, Gray's live. Any excuse not to put the Christmas tree up.
Have you got your Christmas tree yet?
I mean, I have a Christmas tree. I haven't put it up yet. After years and years of hoovering the pine needles out of our thick pile carpet, and now we have cats. And
I'm going to probably go pick one up on Tuesday next week.
Fun.
But I am worried about Tilly, how she's going to react.
Yes, if Tilly's anything like my 2 cats, which she's not, but I had to redecorate the tree every day last year, but they were kittens then. I'm hoping they'll be a bit more calmer now. 600 PP says, do you have any updates on the shipping date of the 24 to 120? So we don't, but if the sort of B&H Adorama sites or anything to be believed, it's going to be mid-December. We don't know yet. So hopefully we'll have more news in the next week and a half.
Well, roughly. I wish Nikon would be a little bit more open with us on the delivery dates. It's at least similar like in the United States, but unfortunately we have no idea.
We have no official information. Eve says, hi, Becky. Constantine, nice to see you again. Hello.
Hello.
My question... Any idea when the new firmware for the Z7 II and Z6 II will appear? No, but if you saw our little video where we did the test of the firmware update for the Z6, which was actually a lot of fun to do and a nice surprising improvement, I would say. I hope it's going to be beginning of next year.
Yeah, the problem is we kind of heard a lot of talk about it in September, and there was nothing since then. That's the thing. And we keep asking, and obviously a lot of people saw that on rumor websites and everything, but literally there's no information whatsoever. So no one else, kind of talked to, discussed anything. So I personally think, well, once Z9 has been shipped officially, then maybe then we will see the release. It would be nice if they released before Christmas as a present to all of us.
Yes, but I think it will be after. That's my realistic view. Slow Ride Photography Adventure says, you look great. Thank you. Any rumours on further Z5 updates? Haven't heard any rumours on Z5 updates, actually. So, no, sadly not. But I think that with the lineup, and we're probably going to talk about this more in the year in review podcast that we're going to release, I think that Nikon will probably rationalize the Z range in the new year because at the moment we've got a lot of full frame cameras, and although they're all at very different price points, I'm not sure that some of them make sense anymore in terms of having them in the offing, if you like. So anyway, we can discuss that.
But speaking of Z5, I think it's a very important camera for Nikon, even if it's often gets forgotten. So the thing about this is it's a really good price point, and not many companies have it. Sony, for example, doesn't have anything like that. So,
Yeah. David is checking in from Ottawa, and hi. I hope it's not too snowy over there. He said, I've ordered a 24-120 from my local camera store. Cannot wait. Just got my Nikon Owner's Mag in the post. That was fast. It made it over there quite quickly. Wasn't a question, but never mind. Roy, now he says, question, do you believe that sensor size affects depth of field? And I'm wondering if this is a question of our opinion.
Is there a right answer?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about what I'm going to say to this. Okay, so in terms of...
We on our IG, on our Instagram, we ask no politics.
No, I think because there's different schools of thought of it, right? I don't know if sensor size affects the actual physical depth of field, because in terms of actual depth of field, I don't know how that would change that. You're just getting a crop view. But in terms of the look and feel of an image when it is compressed in that way, and when you shoot more telephoto, it does look different.
Yeah, I'll say yes to this, and I'm not going to even explain anything. So
Good.
just
Don't explain yourself. No regrets.
No, there's a reason why you shoot medium format, let's say, or large format. So
it's completely different look. It's completely different look. Okay, good. Pierre Louis asks a very interesting question. Said, I pre-ordered the Z9 since apparently it's so good. Do you think that using the Z7 II will be less enjoyable than before? I mean, I think everyone likes a new toy. I personally love it when I get a new camera, but there's something to be said for, you know, a camera that you're 100% comfortable with. Z7 II is like, you know, it's a completely different thing, really.
Yeah, I don't know how I can be polite about this, but no, actually, one thing I'm going to tell you. Yesterday, I did this event. It was a big dinner that I was part of the team of photographers. And a photographer I shot with, he had Z7 Mark II with battery pack attached. So it looks big, looks professional and all that. So people still look at the big cameras and think they're professional, psychological thing. We all know that. But I asked him, because obviously he asked me, oh, how's Z9 and everything? And I was like, well, look, it's just another level. And I asked him, how are you getting on with your Z7, especially for commercial work? And he's a professional photographer. It's, his bread and butter. He does from studio to event photography. So basically, you name it. And he says that he really, really loves it. He said, compared to the 850, the focusing is superb in terms of nailing the shots.
Interesting.
So again, remember we talked about the amount of keepers?
Yeah.
And again, people say, oh, because you can't get enough keepers with your D50, you're not a good photographer. It's not about that. It's about AF system on the sensor.
Yes.
And
makes a big difference.
Exactly. And he said he loves shooting with that 7 Mark II, and he's a professional photographer. He was photographing events with it, which for me, before that, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
For me, I would say no, because I shot with G850. So for me, G850 is my, still bread and butter kind of trusty camera. And, if I would shoot now, it probably, if I have access to Z9, I would do this and I would upgrade to Z8 at some point. He obviously done a lot more commercial work than me, and he shot with the 7 Mark II. And obviously this camera is good enough for all this type. So, so no matter what everyone says. So in my opinion, that Z6 and the Z7 cameras, Mark II and Mark I, are very good cameras as long as you know how to operate the AF system. So if you know how to do this, you're going to be absolutely fine. And obviously Z9 is just going to make your life a lot easier, I would say.
Yeah, completely. That was a really good comprehensive answer to that question.
It was an eye opener for me.
Whole live stream. It's true, because it's the first time you've shot an event with the Z camera being your only camera, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I shot with my G850.
Oh, you did
He
shoot with
He shot with Z7 Mark II.
Oh, I thought that you'd...
and that's why I asked him, because I was like, look what you have. No, but I want to know what's his opinion, because obviously, he does a lot of work, and like now it's Christmas dinners, so there's a lot of event photography happening right now.
Yeah.
And if he feels enough, he's been shooting for 30 odd years,
Yes.
So if he feels that Z7 is good enough to do this type of work, then that's all I need to know.
You're convinced.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I hope that answers your question. I think it does. Russell asked a great question. What's the most exciting product that's come through the shop in our tenure? I mean, I personally loved it when we got the 6mm f2.8. They're very rare. Very, very rare lenses. And that we had, when I first started working, when we both started working here about 13 years ago, we had one on a tripod in the secondhand department, which you still occasionally see on one of our older pictures. It was Nikon's, that one, but we had our own. We've had a few that we've actually bought and then sold on to collectors. Always an exciting thing to have, I would say. Any particular one for you? I
think for me it's Z9, and it's got this...
amazing.
I would say it just... I think it's got a significance in a space where a lot of people say Nikon is late to the party on mirrorless.
Yes.
And a lot of people made the analogy with electric cars. So if you look, let's say, at Tesla as a kind of leader in EV manufacturing right now, you look at, let's say, Ford or other companies, Volkswagen, they're all trying to catch up, and they're years behind in terms of battery technology, et cetera, and just cost of production, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people made the same analogy with Nikon, saying that they're late to the party, they're going to take years to become competitive with other brands, and Sony being the one of them. So look at Z9 now.
Look at them now.
Who is laughing now? No, but the idea is, yes, they're late to the party, but the cameras that they release, the first generation of Z6, Z7, they still getting love from Nikon or firmware comes out. Z7, the Z6 Mark II, hopefully we'll get love soon with the firmware update. And Z9, according to many opinions now, and reviews, well, not really reviews, I won't call them reviews, but the first hands-on, a lot of people who use the A1, which is a Sony flagship, say that Z9 is better and cheaper. So that's why it is significant for me, because it just shows us that the future is bright, there's more things to come, and we're getting to this place where Nikon is becoming truly competitive with everyone else.
Yeah, and the technology is phenomenal now, so it can only get better, right? David said, will Gray join the live stream for Christmas? Yes, he will. We will rope him in to the live stream. Absolutely. Vince said, which would you rather personally see, ZF or Z8? Ooh. Okay, personally, I know for you that's an easy answer.
No, it's both actually.
Really?
But Z8 first. For me.
Yeah, I would like it if they released a Z8 for other people. For me, I'm still quite happy with where I'm at, but I'd love to see a ZF.
Okay.
I love this camera.
I want ZF not to be based on Z5 or Z6 sensor. I think 24 megapixels for 2021 and 2022 is becoming too small, because we all get, with the new phones and new iPads and tablets and all this, they all get very high resolution screens.
Yeah.
So try to zoom in on 4K screen, let's say in a Lightroom to 100% on Z6 file. It goes about 30% in, and you're basically at 100% at this point. So in my opinion, 24 megapixels has to go with the future releases. So we need to get something 36 plus.
Yeah, that would be helpful actually. If a ZF, I always want to say the C part. If a ZF full frame retro style camera had 36 megapixels, I think that would be a sweet spot for
because the assumption that ZF would be something like a rebadged Z5 or let's say a Z6 camera. So I hope they're going to put new sensor in it. Yeah,
exactly. I really love this question. I'm like trying to keep track of all the questions here, but I love this question from David Roberts. He says, I have a Nikon FA, F3, FM2N, FM3A amongst other Nikon film cameras. Currently, what are your favorite film cameras and lens? Yours is not a Nikon at the moment.
Well, I have love for all of them because I use them all. I actually use them all. That's the funny thing. So
they all have special places in your heart.
Well, special place is definitely F100.
Yeah.
Current love is Mamiya 7, but always in my pocket is L35 Nikon point and shoot camera.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, actually. I've seen you with that one quite a lot. I've given some love back to my F6. I didn't shoot with it for a few months, and the FM3A, well, actually, the last time I shot with the F6 was last September, and then I used the FM3A solidly this last year pretty much, and now I've gone back to the F6 and remembered that I love that camera.
You cycle through them, isn't it?
I do, and I need to give a bit more love to my Pentax, but that's like Christmas time.
But you have a lovely Pentax 6.7. You got 105 2.4, which is considered to be superb lens. Honestly, the 3D rendering. So if you're shooting petrol stations, they're going to be exceptionally good.
Yeah, but I go to like reservoirs and forests to shoot.
Even better. But what I also find as well, I also have a FM3 with 35-1.4 permanently attached to it. So, but what I do find is, let's say, I have Cine Steel in my Mamiya right now.
Yeah.
And because I thought I'm going to photograph some stuff on Monday, and I didn't. And now it's sitting there, so I can't use that camera. So I got Portrait 800 in my L35 because I kind of carry it with me all the time. So, I may shoot at night, I may shoot during the day. And then F100 has Portrait 400 on it. So I use the film, I use the film when I want to. So, and I'm thinking like, I might need to put something like Ektar 100 into FM3. And then depending on the day, when you go, you just take the camera with the right film.
That's very true. Yeah, I've got just some Kodak, whatever it is, it's 200 in F6. So not useful for this time of day, but it was great on Sunday morning when the sun was out. Decided to make an appearance. Jeremy, Nikon don't still do enlarger lenses, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they don't.
But you can find them in various places. I think in all of the time I've been here, in fact, I did ask Gray, in all the years, I think we've only ever been asked for enlarger lenses twice. So it's not something that we would stock, but they are out there in the world. Interesting.
You know that Nikon did a lens for one of the medium format camera, Mcnally?
Yeah.
So it's like a point and shoot camera with built-in. Well, it's not really point and shoot, but yeah, it's kind of with a built-in lens, and the lens is made by Nikon.
Yes. Well, there you go. I didn't know that. Lee, just to clarify, Whamageddon only runs for the month of December, so you have to not listen to the song during the month. I'm going to send this to Dave Berry on the Absolute Radio Breakfast Show. I'm going to tell him.
I wonder if we're going to get a copyright strike.
No, you can't intentionally wham the audience. It's not allowed.
Okay. Can I give you up? There's a Rickroll.
Yes, we're cool. We know
so
things.
I can't wham them, but I can Rickroll them. Yeah.
Thank you to Joy for your contribution to the coffee fund.
Much.
Anyway, the lead that answers, you're still in if you haven't heard the Wham song during December. David asks, mince pie, what type of alcohol do you use to add to the flavour? Well, I don't drink, so nothing.
I'm not into mince pies.
You don't like mince pies? Oh, boo.
Not my thing.
Boo. Apparently, the Marks and Spencer's ones are the best if you're in the UK.
But you know what I like? What do they have? It's a Bailey's butter. No, what do they have? This.
Yeah, they do like it's kind of like a double cream almost.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Very nice. Right.
Turkey or duck for Christmas?
That was our turkey, obviously.
I don't like turkey. No, we're going duck.
I think that's good to be different. Cameras, clocks and watches said, I started with a Pentax, had second thoughts and switched to an FM2N. Today when I think of a camera, I see the FM2. I can understand that. Absolutely. Oh, Baxter, tough question. Film or digital?
Why can't we have both?
Okay.
Why can't we be all inclusive? The reason why I'm saying this is because
it's a personal opinion.
That's the thing. And the thing about this, every time we do something with film, like we always get comments as like, oh, why do you do this digital so much better?
Yes.
Why can't we have both?
Yes, we can.
Exactly.
We live in a world where you can actually shoot both film and digital, and it's totally okay.
And enjoy it. That's the thing. And if you just shoot digital or you just shoot film, that's absolutely fine as well.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So love around, I think.
I personally, when I'm doing completely 100% personal work, I prefer to shoot film. Obviously, it depends on what it is. If I'm taking pictures of something that I know I'm going to need to do something with the pictures afterwards, I need to manipulate them, or I want to do HDR or something, or like a particularly tough, long exposure, I will shoot digital. Astrophotography, I wouldn't shoot film. I know people that do, and they do an amazing job, but I personally wouldn't. When it comes to film, is your preference medium format, large format, or 35mm?
Medium format.
Horses for courses.
Yeah.
I love medium format. I don't love the expense attached to it, so 35mm for me.
But it's reasonable compared to large format.
He didn't suggest APS. I wonder why.
110 as well. I agree with you. It's with those things, commercial work generally would be shot on digital, and then personal projects I would shoot on film.
Yeah, there you go.
I think for us it's becoming a more therapeutic thing because obviously we have our news podcast as well. We talk a lot about specs and technology and everything, and it's just sometimes it's nice to just get away from that, take a film camera and just take some shots with it without thinking too much about it.
Take a step back, take a breather. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon said you're both great. I love your videos. Thank you.
But it's similar to, let's say,
no, I did.
Yeah. But it's similar to vinyl, debate, and obviously digital. Yes, of course. Yeah, let's say FLAC files, uncompressed. They're the best quality you can get. Obviously, there's a lot of what gear comes through attached to it, but a lot of people enjoy vinyl.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That's absolutely fine.
And it's not convenient. You can't carry it around in your pocket, but they prefer the listening experience.
Well, you can't really open a FLAC file and enjoy the art, isn't it? So that's another story,
Yeah, it's very true. Okay, Ian has a question. What do you replace a broken SB900 with? Probably an SB5000 or another SB900 but secondhand, or an SB910 even.
The more I use SB5000, the less I like it.
Really?
I find my SB900 has been a bit more reliable.
Interesting. I shoot with my SB600 and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just not feeling SB5000.
It's like if you're going somewhere and you just need a one flash on the camera setup, obviously not for when you're doing more complicated setups, because the SB600 is literally just either on camera or a slave flash. Put that on the camera, put the Gary Fong,
the sphere thingy.
It's not actually a Gary Fong, it's something that
you can get them cheaper nowadays.
Thing, point it towards the ceiling or a wall or whatever. It diffuses the light, and nobody would know.
I still have SB28 for my eBay setup.
Wow.
And I have this ring flash attachment, the one we used to sell back in the day.
Yes.
So it just goes on a.
I remember that. I remember that. Snapper Stuff used to sell
Snapper Stuff, yeah. So
Yes.
it came from them, and it does really well because you get the shot without the shadows, and it's fully manual. And if you learn how to use studio lights, manual flash becomes easy.
Yeah, Con is our go-to for studio lights. I think it was Kevin was asking us to show the setup, but that would involve moving so many things. But what I'll do is I'll take I'll do a story after the stream, and then I'll put it on my stories on Instagram, so you can check it out there, Kevin.
Yeah, if you want to see what they look like, type in Go Docs and then VL Victor Lima 150.
Yes.
So we got two lights like this, and was it 65 centimeter radius soft boxes, two of them?
Yeah.
Is it 65 or 85?
These are 85s.
85
I think.
centimeters. Okay.
Yeah, those are the smallest ones. Thank you to Terry for your contribution to the Mince Pie Fund.
Thank you.
I think that's what we should call it from now on. And
Yeah, or pig in a blanket.
So to Brian, and for a water coffee-proof computer cover. Yeah, need one of those around. If you do it once and then we just started to forget about the coffee incident.
Well, that means just running late to things. I think it's not a good idea. So we had a bit of a late lunch before the stream.
It's true. We were too busy trying to work out what we're doing for the next couple of weeks. David said, do I zone focus with my SP? No, actually. Well, I don't own the SP. That was kindly loaned to me for the little trip that I did the vlog with the SP, which I would really like to borrow one again, actually, because I enjoyed it.
Oh, I like hyperfocal distance focusing. It's pretty cool because you can go nerdy
do
about
the calculations.
That. Exactly.
Yeah, I would. Because I have a Rolly B35. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a very compact. It's like a fit in your palm of your hand, manual, not point and shoot, but kind of point and shoot. And I got very used to judging the distances between myself and objects. So the SP for me basically ended up being quite similar because the viewfinders aren't that great.
Yeah, I think my idea is just go with it, just try it and see if it works for you. And if it does, then, and you find it convenient, then you kind of learn how to use it. So, next time you'll just use it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin said, what's the date of the last live stream? It's
it's before the Christmas week.
It is the 17th.
The 17th.
It is the 17th of December. So mark it in your diaries. Whatever.
Big party.
If you want to. Con is doing a great job of spilling out the answers quickly today. You're like on fire.
On fire.
You should spill water on
let's
my
do it.
computer more often.
I'm ready.
It
was a good lunch.
As Pieman 1970 said, exposure notably better today. So obviously the lights do work.
Well, hopefully we will try to fine tune them as well. So, set them up nicely. Maybe
get some anti-glare.
Yeah, I've balanced them for 56K. I think we're a little bit yellowish, so I'll maybe fine tune it a little bit to make it a little bit more bluish, but just a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of people are complaining about volume, which is funny because I think everyone else is fine. Do check the volume on your device because we are at the same level that we are.
Yeah, are we clipping or what's happening?
No, they were saying we were too quiet.
Too quiet, okay.
But it's not us. Nope, don't
It's
touch
not
it.
us, no. Maybe we'll screw it for everyone else.
Yes, exactly. Everyone else has set their volume appropriately now. It's always difficult.
Turn it up to 11.
Hostmeto said, hiya guys, I love you. Thank you. We love you too. I want to buy a D780. I think it's a great camera. Can you change my mind? I wouldn't change your mind personally.
If you give us a call on 0207 828 4925 and speak to our lovely sales staff, I'm sure they'll look after you.
Yeah, we won't convince you otherwise. The D780 is one of those beautiful hybrid cameras. It's the only DSLR that benefits from the Z autofocus system in live view. I really wish that they'd done that with the D6.
Yeah, and I think D780 definitely deserves more love.
It does. It does indeed. So I hope that helps. Now, there was another question, and I can't find who it was from. But anyway, someone asked what's the best on hot shoe video light. Now, I've tried a few. I got those little Chinese things.
Yeah, the 25 quid.
Yeah,
no, you got those?
The Rory lights, yeah. The little panels that you hated. That you
okay, so yeah, the cheap Chinese stuff. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
They are rubbish.
I mean, they are not very good in terms of quality of light. You can really see the difference. I mean, what we were using before, what's the name of the lights that we were using before?
Niwer, I think.
Oh, they're the Niwer, yes. So those are the lights that we had before, just as a little before and after kind of Con's gonna try not to spill anything in the process of bringing the the light over, but just to show you the difference. These are not hot shoe, but this is what we had before. So the reason why everything was so bright, full LED panel, we had 2 of them, very garish.
Yeah. I've been fighting for the upgrade for last year, I think.
At least, yeah. So anyway, but in terms of an on-camera light, it's quite a difficult one. I would say just get the best one that you can possibly afford, really. The rotor lights have a very, very high reputation. They're quite expensive, but they do some really, really nice sort of constant lighting.
Yeah. Generally, with LED lights, the more you spend on them, the better quality lights you get.
Yes.
But the good news is that we're getting really good lights nowadays. Like, let's say, even if you look at Godox, those are obviously they're not on, on the hot shoe lights. They're kind of more of a studio continuous lights. But something similar to that, even let's say 2-3 years ago, there was Apertures with a 120, and they were £700. These lights are about £300?
Yeah, something like that.
The image quality, the light quality is very, very close.
Yeah.
So, and the same with the smaller lights, they keep improving. So yeah, do definitely just do your research. Don't go with the cheapest brand. Don't go with the most expensive one. Get somewhere in the middle and just have a look at the reviews.
Exactly. Now, favorite collector's item to come through Grays in the last 10 years. That's from David Roberts. I'm still going to stick with the 6mm, but actually,
Okay.
I do, yes.
What would you buy yourself? Let's say, what's the collector's item that you would buy yourself?
I'd get myself an FM2N Year of the Dog.
Full gold? I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, no, I know that one is
It's not gold. It's just a normal FM2N, but it's got a lovely little dog imprint on it. I really like that one. Or an FM2T.
That's true. I think the only one thing, I regret that I didn't buy at the time, but to be honest with you, I didn't have the money at the time. But we've got the brand new S3 year 2000 edition with, I think, 5cm 1.4 lens.
Yes.
We were selling them for $999 at the time. I think it was 10 years ago. Oh. And I wish I would buy that one, and I would just have it for myself.
Yes.
But at that time, I just didn't have the means to do that.
No, I also passed up the opportunity to have a manual 35 1.4 AIS at a complete bargain. But I didn't have the cash at the time, so I didn't buy it, passed it up. You bought it.
I paid $150 for it, and she passed on it.
I didn't have that.
I mean, you can have it for $700 if you want.
Thanks, Con. Yeah.
It's a mate's rate.
Yeah. Appreciate it after all these years.
Plus VAT. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so Richard Paul asked an interesting question. Said, Advent greetings, Becky and Con. Hello.
Hello.
Regarding something Con said earlier in the stream about 24 megapixel cameras, what do you think the chances are of Nikon producing a 36 megapixel Z camera in 2022? We're hoping that that's where they'll lean towards. I think if they do bring out the Z8, it will be the 45.
I hope more.
Plus.
I really hope more, because what's the point of having Z9 at 45 megapixels and then Z8 with the same sensor? I think historically the 850 was the camera with a higher resolution. So it was a little bit slower, but you get the higher resolution and dynamic range. So I personally think that we should be looking at 60 plus megapixels. So the more the merrier, at least for me. Because we have a sport. Z9 historically, or D6, D5 cameras were historically the fast cameras for sports and action photography, and also low light. So that's one thing that I'm feeling strange about the Z9, is because obviously it's good in low light, but it's not D6.
Yeah.
And historically, those flagships were the low light cameras, right? So I don't know if they're going to release a specific low light camera in the future. Who knows? That's a speculation. But I feel like Z8 supposed to be a higher resolution camera for more studio work, but with the same AF system at least.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it makes sense for them to bring out a camera that doesn't replicate everything the Z9 does, but uses all that great technology that they put in there, because otherwise it's going to detract from the Z9 users.
As I mentioned in Ryan Troy interview, I said that increase the resolution, obviously you get more data, so reduce the frame rate. So I obviously don't know exactly how those things work in camera, but that was my simple math about it. Now, my second concern is not related to that, but more related to low resolution sensors. Okay, all DX releases were at 20 megapixel sensor that we had since D500.
Yes.
So it's been a while.
2016. I was actually looking it up yesterday.
So we haven't seen a higher resolution sensor. I mean, they have 24DX on 7200, but we haven't seen anything higher in DX range. And I personally think that they should release one soon, because if you get another DX camera with the same sensor, it's kind of okay, it's nice, but that we have more DX cameras. But I really hope they're going to release a new DX sensor with a higher res.
Yes, I agree. It would be very nice indeed. Randall said Z8 medium format camera. Oh, we can dream.
The man can dream, absolutely.
Whole new lens series and everything.
I actually don't understand where the whole thing about medium, like Nikon will release a medium format camera came from. I mean, obviously the mount, Z mount, is quite large, but we keep seeing those rumors coming up every 3-4 months or so.
Yeah.
I personally think they never will release one because that's just another system to carry another, bunch of lenses to release.
Yes.
But obviously, photographer in me who shoots medium format on film, I would love to have something like 6x7 on medium,
Yeah, it would be amazing.
at maybe 3,000-4,000 pounds, which is probably impossible.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard, for your contribution to the Mince Pie Fund.
Thank you.
You didn't wham me. It's okay. Before you go. That's not the song. David would like us to do a show on focus tracking in the near future. I did one during proper lockdown when I was at home all on my lonesome, and it was quite informative, but we could totally do another autofocus 101.
Yeah, I think these type of things need to be very kind of visual as well. So
yeah, and maybe the live stream wouldn't be the best place for it, but a pre-recorded
somewhere in
video.
location or pre-recorded, because we are quite cramped in a small place, so it would be quite difficult to demonstrate those things.
However, Ian, thank you very much for finding the channel and your support, says, have you guys done any sports action shooting? We do a lot of kind of more nature, wildlife oriented stuff. Apart from you,
we do some table tennis.
apart from you doing your 10-meter sprint,
stay tuned.
You'll see that soon.
Yeah.
You're in for a real treat. We haven't done any. However, I have some connections in terms of some equestrian photography, which is obviously sports, and also football. So we are looking at doing that in the new year.
Absolutely. If you're in UK and know someone who is interested in doing something together with us, maybe some venues, interesting places, or maybe some to do with sports, wildlife, could be just it's some nice interior place. Do let us know, because we would love to get in touch with them, because we love to shoot on location.
Absolutely. And I think it makes it more, also I assume from a viewing point of view, it's more interesting for you than us just sitting here and rambling away. The 8-layer man says, buying a Z 28mm lens from Grays of Westminster today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We hope you love it. Now, let's just have a look. Israel said, recommendations on a waterproof camera.
Nikonos.
Yeah, gosh, the old Nikonos are amazing. Very difficult to get serviced these days, but you can still get them serviced.
I still have somewhere in the Arctic.
Yeah.
Not the camera, but the whole lighting gear for Nikonos.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
I was given it about 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
So it's somewhere, and it's 2 flashes with some stands, some kind of grease and something else. So I might set it up. We might actually film something with it.
Yeah, why not?
In summer.
It could be fun.
Yeah.
Go scuba diving.
Exactly.
I can't swim, so that's not a good idea.
Yeah. What, in Thames?
Yeah, lovely. Won't be able to see very much. Now, Bob said, have you tried the 24-120Z? Briefly, we did. It's so far so good. Looks to be slightly sharper than the F-mount version. What we did do...
A lot sharper.
Okay, fine. A lot sharper. What we did do is had a look at the 18-140 DX versus the 24-200, but also versus the F-mount version of the 18-140. And that was very interesting. These Z lenses, even when they're kind of the plastic mount ones, or even if they're sort of more generic all-purpose lenses, are so good now. I can't complain about them at all. So hopefully that gives you the little bit of information of the small experience we've had with them. Patrick said, can we talk about the Nikon Owner magazine? We did do a little run on it last week. If that's helpful, you can have a look at last week's stream. Nikon Owner, do I have a copy here? No. I do in my... Well, Nikon Owner, as you can see here, is a quarterly magazine, ships out all over the world. It's a sister company of Gray's. So we started it about 20 years ago. Obviously not me personally, but Gray and Gillian, the features editor, started it about 20 years ago. And it was kind of like a Nikon owner support group. So for people who own Nikon, you've got free technical support, you've got courses, workshops, and we tied it in where you could then get extended warranties if you're buying stuff from Grays. So it's actually a really nice thing to have. We now do an e-version and a physical version because obviously posting magazines is quite expensive these days. But there are some details in the description box of last week's stream if you want the links to sign up and things like that.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
write
That's
in it.
exactly what I wanted to say. I thought you're going to be shy enough to say that you write articles, but she does. They don't let me write articles for.
You're not allowed.
My writing skills are not as good as my camera skills.
Yeah.
And my camera skills are not very good either.
That's not true at all. Constantine is an amazing photographer in his own right, just so you know.
In my own reality.
Michael said, are you going to do a Christmas lights walkabout? Yeah, I sprained my ankle, unfortunately. So that's why we're here and not doing a walkabout this week. It's very sad.
It was till last night. It was planned, and then, yeah.
And then disaster struck, and I'm not walking anywhere very fast. So what we will probably do is if everything's fine by next week, we'll try and do it before the end of the year. We certainly will, because London is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yes.
I mean, at the moment, there's not many places you can go. This is about the right time for it as well. So if we do that, we may make the stream an hour later.
It's twilight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of...
Not too dark.
Yeah.
Just enough to see the lights, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I passed Hyde Park Corner yesterday, and that thing they do inside, or whatever they call
Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland, yeah, that looks really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. That gathering.
That gathering of people.
Strange people.
Yeah. David said, when you're not doing live stream, do you work at the sales counters and what admin type of work? Well, we do everything. All of it. We are definitely less on the shop floor most recently because we have a team on the shop floor now. But yes, up until not that long ago, we were solely on the shop floor, which was always entertaining. There were even a few live streams that we did on the shop floor.
That's true.
Which was always fun.
Oh, yes. I remember the grill at the background and everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're slowly transitioning out of the sales because, there's a lot more content that we need to work on at the moment.
So much to do.
And because we're trying to do everything in-house and editing, again, something that we're learning as we go, and that takes time. So to just produce a good video, not just conversation ones, but the ones on location ones take a lot of time to
Lots
prepare.
of editing,
yeah.
Yes. So Terry said, how about inviting Simon Stafford to a live stream in the future? We would love to. He said, just picked up his book on speedlights and the Nikon Compendium, both good reads. Simon's a great technical writer. He's absolutely amazing. His knowledge is phenomenal. He has done quite a lot of work with us on the live streams, but he's not London based, so we have to work something out. I've got something in the pipeline with him very, very soon.
I still have his flash book as well. So I have Joe's book and Simon's book, and I basically learned from them how to do flash photography.
Yeah, exactly. Harry asks about Photomic FTN meter repairs. Where can you get those repaired? Sendine is probably the only place.
Sendine, yes, and it's going to cost a fortune. Unfortunately, you can't get a cheap repair on that.
No, because it's a matter of finding another one to cannibalize the parts from.
When we say cost a fortune, it's you're looking at something like £400 plus.
Not cheap, sadly. Andy Miller said, was the firmware 3.4 update for the Z7 supposed to improve animal/eye head focus tracking as well as human eye face tracking?
If you go to Nikon page, it literally has a breakdown of all improvements that are there. So,
I didn't see that on it, but I might have missed it because I was specifically looking for the human eye face tracking. But anyway, hopefully that helps. Oh, Robert. Yay. Robert said, Becky, good write-up on the 50mm MC in the latest Nikon owners issue. Still leaves me questioning 50 MC or 105, which Simon had also reviewed in the latest issue. Yes, I was supposed to do a review on both, and then I found out Simon was doing his on the 105, so I made mine entirely about the 50mm. I think it's very much horses for courses with that one. I would say one of each if you could afford it, but the 50 for me is a more versatile lens. It's kind of replaced out my mid-range. I don't use any other 50 now, so that's my go-to.
Yeah, I think the whole conversation when we had 60 and 105 for f-mount, it was about the same as 50 and 105 now. So really, whichever focal distance speaks to you, then go with that one.
Yeah, Exactly. And would you believe that we've been talking for an hour?
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't know if we've handled all the questions.
In a good company, time flies.
Exactly. Thank you to Randall, who has reminded me, if you would be so kind as to vote for us in the upcoming Good Service Awards for Amateur Photographer, that would be most appreciated. We've also been nominated for a Photography News Retailer of the Year Award, which I haven't had the link for yet, but it would be wonderful if you could also vote for us there. If you happen to see that, I'll see if I can add it when I get the details through, because they've only given us like 3 weeks for that one.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good to know.
Yes. In terms of servicing and repairs, sorry, Rakesh said, do we service it?
Always serviceable. F3 HPs are serviceable. However, it depends on what it is. So I would say F3s are still 95% serviceable.
There we go. Yeah. All right. And the question line is closed. We will obviously be back next week for another live stream. We truly appreciate all of your questions and for joining us this afternoon. For the 281 of you, the only 114, please do give us a like before we vanish, because the video enjoys that. And thank you to Charles for that final Coffee Fund contribution. Much. Very, very much appreciated. One thing I must say, paging Dr. Adrian Rowley.
Yes.
Adrian Rowley has not claimed his bag yet.
Oh, right, yes. In Lost and Found section of our room, we found this prize that was supposed to give him to a winner 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was 2 weeks ago, I think. So please do step forward. Otherwise, we'll release it into the wild and we'll redo a competition probably towards the end of the year.
No, definitely. We want to find it a good home.
Exactly.
A good, loving home.
Exactly. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't get too stressed about Christmas preparations. We will see you next week for another Nikon Report and another live stream.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.